Say what you will about the writing in the prequel trilogy, those movies at least gave us some immensely fun and entertaining fight scenes, from lightsaber duels to space combat to two massive armies clashing together. The scenes weren't all perfect, of course, but they were largely well shot, had strong setups and payoffs.
Do it.
And required little, if any, suspension of disbelief. The Obi-Wan show suffered a similar weakness in its writing.
Look, since I met you, I've been chased, shot at, I almost fell to my death, and now there are inquisiting people after us.
But do its action scenes redeem it in any way, or do they suck too and just add to the terribleness? Let's take a look, starting in the second episode on Daiyu. Why are we doing this again? Why is Leia inexplicably and unbelievably running away from yet another grown adult who could have easily just reached out and grabbed her and stopped this whole thing from happening? It's silly. It's ridiculous. Yes, I know Star Wars is for kids, but my goodness, any child over the age of reason could look at this and be like, no, she doesn't get away for that long. That's silly. I can't believe anybody over the age of 12 would even write this scene. It's just completely and totally unbelievable. Not to mention it's unnecessary. The whole city's looking for Obi-Wan. We don't need Leia running away for them to draw attention to themselves. Just before this, they ran smack into a bounty hunter. That's bound to happen again as they try to get out. This whole sequence is just such a terrible setup. I'll admit, I initially thought that Leia climbing up the ladder was just to add drama and let Reva see the ensuing rooftop fight scene, but it was established in the first episode that young Leia likes to climb trees, so it actually makes sense for her to take to the rooftop since she clearly is comfortable with heights. Now we get a bounty hunter catching up to them, and while it's not a speaking role, I appreciate that we're getting some reptilian or maybe amphibian representation. I just have a few questions. Why is this bounty hunter, someone who supposedly makes a living doing this stuff, missing every shot on a grown man like 30 feet away from him? How does Obi-Wan miss 3 consecutive shots on a target that is not in cover or even firing back, and every shot is worse than the previous one? You had his head down, Obi-Wan. He was cowering in place as if accepting death, and you just stopped shooting. Why? Since when can fabric stop blaster fire? Alternatively, what the hell is the clothing on Daiyu made from? Oh, look how cool Reva is. She can do parkour. Oh man, I bet she's gonna catch up to them and we're gonna have a rooftop lightsaber fight scene. Right? Guys? Right? Seriously? Why? Why show all this setup if you're not gonna have any payoff? Why show Reva bounding across the rooftops if we're never going to see her do anything like this in combat? Surely it wasn't just to show the audience how awesome and powerful Reva is, right? Also, why is she so floaty? Maybe it's done on purpose to show her using the Force to enhance her movements, but it really just makes it look like she's being carried by wires. Wow, you finally hit the guy standing out in the open. Great job, Obi-Wan. Truly an impressive feat to hit a still human plus-sized target from behind cover after missing a dozen times. Oh no, is Leia going to die? I'm so worried. Whatever will Obi-Wan do? Okay, to be fair, this is a big moment. Obi-Wan finally using the Force for the first time in who knows how many years, possibly opening old wounds and drawing even more attention to them from the Inquisitors to save Leia. It's an impactful moment. It's just not exactly original. Wait, how did Obi-Wan get down there? I guess he could have just lowered himself down with the Force like he did for Leia, but why didn't they show it? Did he go downstairs? A ladder? What happened to that bounty hunter droid that was shooting at him? They just yada past all that. That rooftop fight wasn't over, but I guess the scene writers were done with it. How does Haja's blaster shot not draw the attention of the Inquisitors and Stormtroopers who were right there? My suspension of disbelief definitely does not allow for Jedi hunting Force users to be literally blind and deaf. Oh, and where did Reva go? How did the droid find Obi-Wan first? I guess at least it was the same droid that was shooting at him earlier. We, the audience, just have no idea how anyone got anywhere. They just kind of show up where the scene needs them to be. Why did he shoot him again? The Inquisitors are still right there! I'm sorry, I just don't believe that you can get away with recklessly shooting your blaster right in front of Inquisitors and Stormtroopers who are on high alert and actively looking for trouble, and not draw attention to yourself. Oh, it's a good thing Reva did all those rooftop flips. It really paid off with this amazing 1v1 fight scene. I bet she's glad she did her parkour to warm up for this encounter. Seriously, what a letdown. They set her up as this athletic, acrobatic Inquisitor, and she never uses that in combat. It was all just pointless movement for spectacle's sake.
Leia, if I don't get back in time, go. I'll be right behind you, I promise. Go.
Anyone know why Obi-Wan thinks Leia can make it to the cargo ship in time to get away, but he somehow couldn't? I mean, just keep moving together, and if Reva catches up, you fight her while Leia escapes. Simple. Did he send Leia away because she embarrassingly outran him earlier, and he just assumed she's this amazing sprinter? Let's go with that, because the only other reason I can think of is that the scene writers needed Obi-Wan to stick around so Reva could taunt him with her inexplicably obtained knowledge about Darth Vader, and that would just be lazy writing.
Watch and learn.
Ugh, I hate it when a supposedly powerful Force wielder gets caught completely off guard by someone standing right in front of him. It was stupid in The Last Jedi, and it's stupid here. The Grand Inquisitor should have been on his guard, and we could have had an actual lightsaber fight in this scene. Instead, we get an anticlimactic death of a character that's barely been introduced to anyone who hasn't watched Rebels, and anyone who has seen Rebels knows he doesn't actually die here anyway. This scene had some potential with Obi-Wan and Leia on the run, pursued by Reva and the bounty hunters, forcing Obi-Wan to reconnect with the Force long before he'd planned to, but the ridiculous opening, silly spectacle for spectacle's sake, characters appearing and disappearing is needed in multiple moments that just aren't believable, severely damage it. Rather than lift up this mess of an episode, the action sequence only serves to sink it deeper into the muck. I'm sorry, couldn't he have just used the Force to grab Obi-Wan and that droid? They're right there in clear view.